In this demonstration, we're going to walk through the new hierarchy builder of the CluedIn platform. Let's upload a data. Let's use our employee data. We'll put it in a folder called data, just so we can refer back to it. Let's view the file, and we can see that we've got 100 rows of employee data here. It's missing a mapping. So in here, let's customize the columns, and let's bring in this reports to. Let's save the selection. And within this data, we can actually see that there's a little bit of a natural hierarchy. Now, in some cases, this hierarchy might exist across different files. In that case, it's a similar type of process to do this in what I'm just about to show you. But in this particular file, there's actually a self-linking back to the ID. So for example, this employee here, Jolie, refers to Rick. And there's a parent-child tree structure that exists within this data. Now, in this case, we're actually going to automatically build the hierarchies based off the data coming in. So let's do a mapping. Let's map the data. And let's say that we're dealing with a person right here. We could also create our own brand new models if we're interested as well. And one of the reasons why we might want to use the existing models is, as you can see, CluedIn's already aware in these models of things like first name, last name, gender, etc. So think of these as just accelerators. We're going to create the mapping. Let's edit the mapping. And let's go and change some of the properties. Number one, let's show the full name of the person in the data. You can see that it's automatically detected both the ID and the email can be used as unique identifiers. I'm going to remove one of these identifiers here. And then I'm going to change the origin. This is really important because we want to make sure that the origins of the reports to column and the origin of the ID column are the same. So let's create a custom origin, and we're going to call this global. This is an arbitrary string. We just need to make sure that they map. So with that in mind, let's click Next, and we're going to create the relationship here. In this case, we're going to use the reports to link to create an edge to the same asset. Let's click Next. And in this case, it's going to ask me for what type of data are we linking back onto. So we are linking back onto a person, and now we can describe the relationship. So we can create a relationship called reports to. Just need to make sure that this is exactly the same name as the link, the origin that we created for the ID itself. In this way, now CluedIn has all the pieces it needs to be able to create that self-linking relationship. Let's finish, and let's process this data into the CluedIn platform. Let's give it some moments to process the data. And you can see now that it's been moved from the staging environment now out into the production environment of CluedIn. So if I go up to search up the top, I should start to see my employee data coming through. There they are, just there. Let's remove some of these columns just so we can clear out what columns are being showed on the data. And we might add in something like our entity type and the creation date here as well. Okay, so now we've got our employee data, and that's starting to flow in. Make sure for the hierarchy builder over in your feature flags, you've got hierarchies enabled. And if that's the case, if you head over to Management and Hierarchy Builder, you'll see this user interface here. So let's create a brand new hierarchy, and let's call it Company Hierarchy. In this case, we can optionally choose if we'd like to filter our hierarchy to be just specific to one particular domain. In this case, let's filter down to person. You can see that CluedIn automatically detects the relationships that exist within the person data. Because of this, it's also automatically detected all the different levels of hierarchies that exist within the data itself. In this example, you can actually see that there's multiple roots of the hierarchy, i.e. multiple people that sit on level 1. So this is an example of a hierarchy where actually there's no one core root. This is a very flat, in a way, a flat company that you could be dealing with. And because of that, what we can actually do is we can tell the data that I'd like to create multiple different hierarchies and multiple different roots. Then it'll ask me, do I want to create these as one big hierarchy with multiple roots, or would I actually rather to create multiple different hierarchy projects all with their own individual roots? Let's go ahead and create one big with multiple roots in it. Let's create. And you can see that our hierarchy has now been built. So we've gone off and you can see we've got multiple roots and you can see that all the nesting is automatically done for us. Now, this is currently just in a staging environment, so none of these records have been updated with the hierarchy including in it. If I'm happy with these hierarchies, I can publish this data and make any changes that I can to this structure. So for example, if suddenly Angelina was to work under Garrick over here, I can simply just drag and drop and put them under Garrick. And you can see that the hierarchies are automatically balanced for me. I can save my changes and then publish the changes if I'm interested as well.